The ships came on a Tuesday morning. Suman Park was drinking her second cup of coffee when the alarm started. She was 58 years old. She had served in the military for 30 years. She had seen wars, disasters, and crises of every kind. But nothing had prepared her for what appeared on her screen. Thousands of ships filled the sky above Earth. They were massive, dark, and shaped like blades. They blocked out the sun over half of Asia. People on the streets stopped walking. Cars stopped moving. Everyone looked up at the sky and felt very, very small. Suman put down her coffee cup. Her hands were steady. They had to be. She was the commander of Earth's United Defense Council. If she showed fear, everyone would panic. "Get me a communication channel," she said to her team. Now, the aliens made contact first. A face appeared on every screen on Earth. Every phone, every television, every computer showed the same image. The creature was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on its face. Its mouth was full of small, sharp teeth. "I am High Lord Torvin of the Velric Dominion," the alien said. Its voice was cold and smooth. "We have conquered 300 worlds. Today, we add yours to our collection." Suman watched from her command center in Seoul. Around her, officers and soldiers stood frozen, staring at the screens. "We have studied your species," Torvin continued. "You are soft. You have no claws, no fangs, no venom, no armor. You removed all the dangerous animals from your cities. You live in comfortable boxes and eat food that others grow for you. You have forgotten what it means to be prey." The alien smiled. It was not a nice smile. "We will remind you." Suman grabbed a microphone. Her technicians worked fast, sending her voice back to the alien fleet. "This is Commander Suman Park of Earth," she said. Her voice was calm and clear. "We do not want war. We ask for peaceful talks. Let us discuss this like civilized beings." Torvin laughed. The sound was harsh and ugly. "Civilized?" He said. "You think you are civilized? You are animals. Weak, soft animals. My soldiers will walk through your cities like farmers walking through fields of grain. We will harvest you." He leaned closer to the camera. "There will be no talks. There will be no mercy. There is only the Dominion." The transmission ended. Suman stood very still for a moment. Then she turned to her officers. "Prepare all defenses," she said. "Call every soldier, every pilot, every person who can fight. We may be soft. We may be weak. But this is our home. And we will not give it up without a fight." The Velric ships began landing that afternoon. They chose Korea first. Suman did not know why. Perhaps because it was densely populated. Perhaps because of its location. Perhaps they simply wanted to start somewhere. Huge landing craft descended on Seoul. Alien soldiers poured out of them like water from a broken dam. They were tall and strong, wearing armor that glowed with strange energy. They carried weapons that fired beams of blue light. One beam could cut a car in half. The Korean military fought back. Tanks rolled through the streets. Jets flew overhead. Soldiers fired everything they had. It was not enough. The Velric armor stopped bullets. Their shields blocked missiles. Their weapons cut through tanks like paper. In 3 hours, Central Seoul was under alien control. Suman watched the reports come in. City after city fell. Bisan, Daegu, Incheon. The aliens moved fast. They were organized. They were efficient. They were winning. "We need more time," Suman said. "We need to evacuate civilians. Get people to the mountains, to the countryside, anywhere away from the cities." Orders went out. Buses and trains filled with people fleeing south. Families grabbed what they could carry and ran. Parents carried children. Children carried pets. Everyone ran. In the small villages outside Bizen, people watched the news on their phones. They saw their country burning. They saw aliens marching through streets they had walked their whole lives. They felt helpless. In one of those villages, a woman named Yuna Lee held her son close. "It will be okay," she told him. "We will be okay." Her son, Ji-hoon, was 12 years old. He was small for his age, quiet and shy. He did not have many friends. He preferred animals to people. He spent most of his time in the mountains, watching birds and looking for interesting bugs. He did not say anything. He just watched the news and held his mother's hand. That night, while the world was focused on the invasion, something else fell from the sky. Not a Velric ship. Something smaller. Something that crashed into the mountains near Ji-hoon's village. No one noticed. Everyone was too busy watching the aliens. But in the morning, Ji-hoon would go into the mountains like he always did. And he would find something that would change everything. High above Earth, High Lord Torvin sat in his command chair and smiled. The invasion was going perfectly. The humans were weak, just as he had expected. Their weapons were primitive. Their defenses were pathetic. Within a week, the whole planet would belong to the Dominion. He had conquered many worlds. This one would be no different. Or so he thought. He did not know about the crash in the mountains. He did not know about the quiet boy who loved animals. He did not know that the universe was about to teach him a lesson about what true strength really meant. But he would learn. They all would. Ji-hoon woke up early. The sun was just rising over the mountains. His mother was still asleep. She had stayed up late watching the news, crying quietly when she thought Ji-hoon could not hear. He got out of bed and put on his shoes. He knew he should stay inside. The aliens were out there somewhere, but the mountains had always been his safe place. He needed to see them. He needed to feel normal, even for just a little while. He walked up the familiar path through the trees. Birds sang in the branches above him. Squirrels ran across the ground. Everything looked the same as always. It was hard to believe that the world was ending. Then he saw the crater. It was new. The trees around it were burned and broken. The ground was black and smoking. In the center was a hole, maybe 10 meters wide. Ji-hoon should have run home. He should have told his mother. But he was curious. He had always been curious. It was what made him different from other kids. They played games and talked about movies. He watched bugs and wondered how they lived. He walked to the edge of the crater and looked down. Something was lying at the bottom. Something alive. It was about the size of a large dog. It had 6 legs, 3 on each side. Its body was covered in scales that looked like black glass. It had a long tail and a head with 2 golden eyes that seemed to glow in the dim light. The creature was hurt. One of its legs was bent wrong. There was blood on its scales, dark blue blood that pooled beneath it. It was breathing, but barely. Ji-hoon did not feel afraid. He knew he should be. This was obviously not from Earth. It was an alien. Maybe it was dangerous. Maybe it would hurt him. But all he saw was a hurt animal. He slid down into the crater. The creature opened its golden eyes and looked at him. It made a small sound, weak and sad. It tried to move away, but it was too hurt. Ji-hoon said softly. "It is okay. I will not hurt you." He took off his jacket and wrapped it around the creature. It was lighter than he expected. He picked it up carefully, making sure not to touch its broken leg. The creature looked at him. It did not try to bite. It did not try to run. It just watched him with those golden eyes. Ji-hoon carried it home. His mother screamed when she saw it. Then she stopped screaming and started thinking. She was a veterinarian. She had fixed many animals before. Never an alien, but the basics were the same. Find what was broken. Fix it. Keep the patient alive. Put it on the table, she said. Ji-hun laid the creature down gently. His mother examined it with careful hands. The creature watched her, but did not move. The leg is broken, Yuna said. I can set it. But I do not know what this animal eats. I do not know if our medicine will work. I do not know anything about it. We have to try, Ji-hun said. Yuna looked at her son. He was holding the creature's front paw, stroking it gently. The creature had closed its eyes. It seemed almost peaceful. She sighed. Okay, we will try. They worked all day. Yuna set the broken leg and wrapped it tight. She gave the creature water, which it drank eagerly. She tried different foods. It would not eat vegetables or rice. But when Ji-hun offered it some raw fish from the refrigerator, it ate quickly and looked for more. A meat eater, Yuna said. A predator. By evening, the creature was stable. It lay on a blanket in the corner of the living room, sleeping. Ji-hun sat next to it, watching. What do you think it is? He asked. I have no idea, his mother said. But it came from the sky. Maybe it came from one of the alien ships. It does not look like the aliens on TV. No, it does not. Ji-hun reached out and touched the creature's head. It was warm. The scales were smooth. The creature made a sound in its sleep, a soft rumble that almost sounded like a purr. I think I will call her Bomi, Ji-hun said. Bomi? Spring? She came when the cherry blossoms were blooming. Yuna smiled sadly. The world was falling apart, but her son was naming alien creatures after flowers. She loved him so much it hurt. Over the next 3 days, Bomi got stronger. Her leg began to heal. She started walking, then running, then jumping. She followed Ji-hun everywhere. When he sat down, she sat next to him. When he walked outside, she walked beside him. At night, she slept at the foot of his bed. She grew attached to him. She would not let anyone else feed her. She would not let anyone else touch her. Only Ji-hun. Yuna watched this with wonder and worry. The creature was clearly dangerous. Its teeth were sharp. Its claws could cut through wood. But with Ji-hun, it was gentle. It played with him like a puppy. It licked his face and wagged its tail. Then the evacuation order came. The Velric were getting closer. Everyone had to leave. Buses were coming to take people south. We have to go, Yuna told Ji-hun. Pack only what you need. Ji-hun looked at Bomi. What about her? We cannot take an alien creature on a bus full of scared people. Then I am not going. Ji-hun, please. Mom, she needs me. Look at her. She trusts me. I cannot leave her. Bomi sat at Ji-hun's feet, looking up at Yuna with those golden eyes. She made a small sound, almost like she understood what they were saying. Yuna closed her eyes. Her son was stubborn. He always had been. When he loved something, he loved it completely. She could see it in his eyes. He would not leave this creature behind. He would stay here alone if she made him choose. Fine, she said. We will take her. But if she causes trouble, we leave her behind. Understood? Ji-hun nodded quickly. She will be good. I promise. They packed their bags. They wrapped Bomi in blankets to hide her. They walked to the meeting point where the buses would come. Neither of them knew that Bomi was not just any creature. Neither of them knew that the Velric had spent 500 years trying to kill every last one of her kind. Neither of them knew that Ji-hun was carrying the only thing in the universe that the mighty Velric Dominion truly feared. They were about to find out. The buses never came. Ji-hun and his mother waited at the meeting point with 50 other refugees. Old people, young people, families with children. Everyone was scared. Everyone was quiet. They stood in the cold morning air and watched the road. Then they heard the sound of engines. But they were not bus engines. A Velric patrol appeared over the hill. 3 armored vehicles, moving fast. They surrounded the group of refugees before anyone could run. Alien soldiers jumped out. They were tall and thin, with gray skin and weapons that glowed blue. They pointed their weapons at the humans and shouted orders in a language no one understood. People screamed. Children cried. An old man fell to his knees. A mother held her baby tight and prayed. Ji-hoon held Bomi tight. She was hidden under a blanket, pressed against his chest. She was very still. He could feel her heart beating fast. The Velric commander walked forward. He looked at the humans with disgust. "Pathetic," he said. His translator device turned his words into Korean. "Look at you, crying, shaking. You are like baby animals waiting to be eaten." He kicked the old man who had fallen. The man cried out in pain. "On your knees," the commander ordered. "All of you, kneel before the Dominion." Slowly, the humans knelt. Yuna pulled Ji-hoon down with her. But Ji-hoon kept watching. He saw a little girl, maybe 3 years old, standing alone. She was crying. Her mother was too far away, pinned down by a soldier. The commander walked toward the little girl. "Even your young are weak," he said. He raised his weapon. "Perhaps we should show you what happens to the weak." Ji-hoon did not think. He just moved. He broke away from his mother and ran. He threw himself in front of the little girl, standing between her and the alien commander. "Leave her alone," Ji-hoon said. His voice was shaking. His legs were shaking. Everything was shaking. But he did not move. The commander laughed. "A brave little animal. How sweet." He pointed his weapon at Ji-hoon's face. "Do you know what this does, little animal? It will burn a hole through your head. You will be dead before you can blink. Is that what you want?" Ji-hoon was terrified. He had never been so scared in his life. But he thought about Bomi. He thought about how she had been scared too, alone and hurt in that crater. He had helped her then. He could be brave now. "I do not care," he said. "You will not hurt her." The commander smiled his ugly smile. "Very well. You can die first." He started to squeeze the trigger, and then Bomi moved. She threw off the blanket and jumped down from Ji-hoon's arms. She landed in front of him, between him and the alien commander. She was small, barely the size of a dog. Her leg was still healing. She was just a cub, but she stood in front of the boy who had saved her life, and she growled. The commander stopped moving. His 4 eyes went wide. The color drained from his gray face. "No," he whispered. "It cannot be." The other Velric soldiers saw Bomi. One by one, they stopped what they were doing. One dropped his weapon. Another started backing away. "Ravak," someone said. The word spread through the patrol like fire. "Ravak, Ravak, Ravak." The commander's hand was shaking so badly that he nearly dropped his weapon. "That is impossible," he said. "They are extinct. We killed them all. We killed them all 500 years ago." Bomi growled again. It was a small sound. She was still only a cub. But to the Velric, it was the most terrifying sound in the universe. The commander turned and ran. He did not give orders. He did not think about his soldiers. He just ran. He climbed into his vehicle and drove away as fast as he could. The other soldiers followed. They abandoned their vehicles, their weapons, everything. They ran like animals fleeing a forest fire. They screamed as they ran. In 30 seconds, the Velric patrol was gone. The refugees stood in silence. No one knew what had happened. They looked at the small creature standing in front of the boy. It did not look scary. It looked like a strange dog. Ji-hoon knelt down and picked up Bomi. She licked his face. "Good girl," he said. "Good girl, Bomi." Yuna ran to her son and hugged him tight. "What happened?" she asked. "Why did they run?" I do not know. Bomi growled at them, and they ran away. On the ground, a Velric communication device was still working. It had recorded everything. It was still transmitting, thousands of kilometers above. High Lord Torvin watched the recording on his command ship. He watched a human boy step in front of an alien weapon to protect the child. He watched a Ravak cub reveal itself. He watched his soldiers run away. Screaming, Torvin gripped the arms of his chair so hard that the metal bent under his fingers. The Ravak were supposed to be extinct. His ancestors had sacrificed millions of soldiers to make sure of it. The Ravak were the only creatures in the galaxy that could threaten the Dominion. They were fast, strong, and nearly impossible to kill. A single adult Ravak could destroy an entire battlecruiser dot, and now there was one on Earth. Worse, it was protecting a human. Even worse, the human had shown no fear. Torvin rewound the recording and watched again. The boy stood in front of the weapon. His body was shaking. He was clearly terrified. But he did not run. He did not beg. He just stood there, ready to die for a child he did not even know Dot. And when the Ravak appeared, the boy did not scream. He did not run. He picked it up and held it like a pet. What are these creatures? Torvin whispered Dot. He did not know. But he was starting to feel something he had not felt in a very long time. Fear. High Lord Torvin sat alone in his dark command room. The recording played over and over on the screens around him. The boy, the cub, the fleeing soldiers. He ordered a full scan of Earth. Every sensor on every ship turned toward the planet below. The data came back in hours dot when Torvin read it. His blood turned cold dot. The Velric had made a terrible mistake. They had studied Earth from far away. They had seen cities filled with humans living peaceful lives. No dangerous animals in the streets. No battles for survival. Just soft creatures eating, sleeping, and playing with their devices. The Velric had concluded that humans were prey animals who had removed all dangers from their world. They were wrong. The scan showed the truth. Wolves. Humans had taken wolves, one of the most dangerous pack hunters on their planet, and turned them into pets. They called them dogs. They lived in human homes. They slept in human beds. Human children played with them. Big cats. Humans kept lions and tigers in places called zoos. They walked into cages with animals that could kill them with one swipe. They trained these animals. They taught them tricks. Horses. Humans sat on the backs of animals that weighed 1,000 pounds. They rode them for fun. They raced them. Snakes, spiders, sharks. Humans kept all of them. They studied them. They touched them. They were not afraid of them. Earth was not a planet without predators. Earth was a planet where the humans had become so dominant that they could afford to treat predators as pets and entertainment. And now, somehow, a human child had done the same thing with a Ravak. Torvin called for his science officer. "Explain this," he demanded. "How is this possible?" The science officer studied the data for a long time. "It appears to be a unique trait, my lord," she said. "Most intelligent species either avoid predators or destroy them. Humans do something different. They form bonds with them. Bonds? Emotional connections, relationships. They take dangerous animals and make them part of their families. The animals seem to respond to this. They become loyal to the humans. They protect them." Torvin stared at the screen. The boy was holding the Ravak cub like it was a baby. "The Ravak were the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy," he said. "We lost millions of soldiers destroying them. And this child treats it like a pet." "Yes, my lord." "How long until the cub becomes an adult?" "Based on our old records, perhaps 2 years. At full size, a Ravak can tear through starship armor. Its claws can cut through almost any material. It is fast, smart, and nearly impossible to kill. And it is bonded to a human child. It appears so. My lord. Torvin was silent for a long time. Far below, Commander Suman Park was getting reports she did not understand. The Velric had stopped attacking. All across Korea, their soldiers were pulling back. They were returning to their ships. They were not fighting anymore. What is happening? She asked her officers. Why are they retreating? No one knew. Then a communication came through. High Lord Torvin's face appeared on the screen. But he looked different now. He looked smaller. His 4 eyes kept moving around, like he was watching for something. Commander Park, he said. His voice was not cold anymore. It was careful. We wish to negotiate. Suman was surprised. But she did not show it. I offered negotiation before, she said. You laughed at me. I was wrong. Those 3 words hung in the air. The mighty High Lord of the Velric Dominion had just admitted he was wrong. What changed? Suman asked. Torvin was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. We did not understand your species. We thought you were weak because you are soft. We thought you were prey because you have no natural weapons. We were fools. He leaned forward. You are the most dangerous species we have ever encountered. Not because of your claws or your fangs. You do not have those. You are dangerous because of what you can do with other creatures. Suman did not understand. What do you mean? A human child found a Ravak cub. Do you know what a Ravak is? No. They are the apex predators of the galaxy. My ancestors spent 500 years and millions of lives wiping them out. They were the only thing we feared. And a human child found one, wounded and alone. And instead of running or killing it, he took it home and healed it. Suman's eyes went wide. The cub is bonded to him now, Torvin continued. It will protect him with its life. When it grows up, it will be able to destroy entire fleets. And it will do anything for that boy. Where is this child? Somewhere on your planet. We have stopped looking. We do not want to find him. We do not want to make the Ravak angry. Suman sat back in her chair. This was impossible. This was crazy. A 12-year-old boy had stopped an alien invasion by adopting a space predator? You are afraid, she said slowly. The mighty Velric Dominion is afraid of a human child and his pet. Torvin did not deny it. We would like to leave your planet in peace, he said. We would like to discuss an alliance. We believe that humanity could be a valuable partner to the Dominion. Suman smiled. An hour ago, you called us prey animals. You said you would harvest us like grain. I was wrong. I said that already. Yes, you did. Suman looked at her officers. They were all staring at her with shocked faces. We will discuss your offer, she said. But first, I want to meet this child. I want to see this creature that scared the mighty Velric. As you wish. The communication ended. Suman stood up. Find me that boy, she said. Find me the child with the alien pet. I want to know everything about him. Her officers scrambled to obey. Somewhere in the mountains near Bizin. Jihoon had no idea that he was now the most important person on Earth. He was sitting on a rock, watching the sunset. Bomi was lying next to him, her head in his lap. Everyone is acting strange, he told her. People keep looking at you. I think they are scared. Bomi made a soft sound and pushed her head against his hand. She wanted him to scratch behind her ears. Jihoon smiled and scratched. You are not scary, he said. You are just a baby. Bomi wagged her tail. She did not know that she was the last of the most feared species in the galaxy. She did not know that her ancestors had destroyed empires. She did not care about any of that dot. She only knew that she loved this boy. He had found her when she was dying. He had saved her life. He fed her and kept her warm, and scratched behind her ears. She would protect him forever, and anyone who tried to hurt him would learn what a Rive could really do. 1 year had passed since the invasion. The world had changed. The Velric fleet was gone. They had left Earth in peace and signed a treaty of alliance. They sent gifts and trade offers. They called humanity their respected partners. But everyone knew the truth. They were afraid. Commander Suman Park stood on a stage in Seoul. Behind her was a giant screen. In front of her were thousands of people. Cameras broadcast her image to every corner of Earth and to dozens of alien worlds watching from far away. 1 year ago, she said, an alien empire came to conquer us. They called us weak. They called us prey. They said we had no claws, no fangs, no armor. She paused. They were right. We do not have those things. The crowd was silent, waiting. But we have something else. Something more powerful. Something that no other species in the galaxy seems to have. She turned and gestured to the side of the stage. Ji-hoon walked out. He was 30 now, a little taller than before. He was wearing simple clothes. His mother walked behind him, smiling proudly. And beside him walked Bomi. The crowd gasped. Bomi was no longer a small cub. She had grown. She was now the size of a small horse. Her black scales gleamed like polished metal. Her golden eyes glowed in the sunlight. Her claws could cut through steel. She walked calmly beside Ji-hoon. Her tail swayed gently. When he stopped, she stopped. When he sat down, she lay down beside him and put her head in his lap. Ji-hoon scratched behind her ears. Bomi closed her eyes and made a deep rumbling sound. She was purring. Suman smiled at them, then turned back to the crowd. This is what they feared, she said. Not a weapon. Not an army. A boy and his pet. She pointed to the big screen. Images began to appear. A woman walking her dog. The dog was large, with sharp teeth. It could easily kill a human. But it walked calmly beside its owner, looking up at her with loving eyes. A man on a horse. The horse was massive and powerful. It could crush a person with one kick. But it carried its rider gently, responding to the smallest touch. A child hugging a cat. The cat had claws that could slice skin. But it purred in the child's arms and rubbed its head against her cheek. Other species look at predators and see danger, Suman said. They either run from them or destroy them. The Velric spent 500 years killing every Ravek in the galaxy because they feared them. She looked at Ji-hoon and Bomi, and then a human boy found the last one, wounded, dying, and instead of running or killing, he took it home and loved it. The screen showed footage from 1 year ago. Ji-hoon standing in front of the Velric soldier, Bomi jumping down to protect him. The aliens running away screaming. We did not conquer the Velric with weapons, Suman said. We did not defeat them with technology. We scared the most powerful empire in the galaxy by being kind to an animal. She stepped forward. This is what humanity is. This is what makes us different. We do not just survive in this universe. We make friends. We form bonds. We take the most dangerous creatures and make them our family. Behind her, more images appeared. A scientist swimming with sharks. A trainer hugging a tiger. A ranger walking with elephants. The Velric called us weak because we are soft. But soft does not mean weak. It means we can connect. We can bond. We can love. She looked directly into the cameras. And now the galaxy knows what happens when you threaten the things we love. The crowd began to cheer. Slowly at first, then louder and louder. People were crying. People were laughing. People were hugging each other. Ji-hoon sat on the stage, looking uncomfortable with all the attention. He had never liked crowds. He still did not have many friends. He still preferred animals to people, but Bomi was beside him, and that was enough. After the ceremony, something wonderful happened. Ships began arriving at Earth. Not Velric ships. Different ships from many different worlds. Each one carried the same thing. Ravak. The Velric thought they had killed them all. They were wrong. A few had survived, hiding on distant worlds, staying in the shadows. They had lived in fear for 500 years. Then they heard what happened on Earth. They heard about the boy who saved a cub. They heard about the planet where creatures were not killed for being dangerous, but loved for who they were. They came to find safety. They came to find peace. They came to find a home. Jihoon stood at the landing field with Bomi, watching the ships come down. Ravak cubs ran to greet them. Adult Ravak, huge and powerful, bowed their heads to the humans who welcomed them. What is happening? Jihoon asked his mother. Yuna put her arm around him. They heard about you, she said. They heard that a human boy saved one of them. They came to see if it was true. An adult Ravak walked toward them. It was massive, 3 times the size of Bomi, with scars covering its scales. It had seen many battles. It had survived many hunts. It stopped in front of Jihoon and lowered its head until its golden eyes were level with his. Jihoon looked at the giant creature. He should have been afraid. Any other person would have been afraid, but he just smiled. Hello, he said. Are you hungry? We have fish. The Ravak made a sound that might have been a laugh. Then it lay down at Jihoon's feet, just like Bomi always did. Bomi walked over and nuzzled against the larger Ravak. They were family now. That night, Jihoon sat on the roof of his house and looked up at the stars. Bomi was beside him, as always. In the yard below, a dozen Ravak were sleeping peacefully. The universe is very big, Jihoon said quietly. There are so many planets, so many creatures, and they are all scared of each other. Bomi made a soft sound. Maybe that can change, Jihoon said. Maybe we can show them that it is okay to not be scared. Maybe we can show them that being kind is not weak. He leaned against Bomi's warm side. Maybe that is what humans are supposed to do. Bomi lifted her head and licked his face. Far away, High Lord Torvin looked at reports of Ravak ships flying to Earth. He should have been angry. His ancestors would have attacked. They would have tried to finish what they started. But Torvin did nothing. He watched the small planet where humans lived with the galaxy's deadliest predators. He watched them playing together, eating together, sleeping together. And for the first time in his long life, he wondered if maybe his ancestors had been wrong. Maybe fear was not the only way to survive. Maybe kindness was stronger. He would never admit it out loud. But deep in his heart, he hoped the humans were right. The galaxy would be a better place if they were.